Michelle.
Hello, Urani. How are you doing?
Good, enjoying this Sunday. So what are we doing here?
So, hello, Andres. We are taking our chances here because you gave us the possibility of doing a video for the reflection. So we decided to do the podcast. We've been talking for months now that we were gonna do, and it's a different tone. So we're gonna try to do a little bit of like giving you a chance of being our first audience for this podcast.
Yeah, we love comedy in this house, as you have seen. So we were thinking about the possibility of making something fun, and I think this is going to be the opportunity where we're going to reflect about what has been this process, but also enjoying the conversation.
Yeah, this is going to be about the research proposal. Obviously, that's the topic. But we wanted to make it from home because this table has been like the place where we've been talking about everything that's happened through the program. We've done so many like jokes and laughed here, the secrets, the beer, the wine. So we're gonna add that to the proposal reflection.
Yeah, and to start, we want to tell you, Andreas, that in this house we have some principles. So we're going to be reflecting on those principles and the relation with this proposal. So let's start with the introduction first about us, and then we start with the first principle. What do you think?
Perfect. Well, I'm Michelle, anthropologist, researcher, performant, migrant, trying to get a UK passport these days. It's been harder than thought, so pretty much it.
Junani, a little bit old to study this master's, so I'm very happy that it's a master's in health education. I studied languages, I was part of a non-profit, and I'm a migrant that has a bad experience in Mexico, so I'm a little bit traumatized with airports. But basically, yeah, I enjoy the time here.
Okay. So one of the most important like laws in this house is that we have the right to contradiction. And this is the table of contradictions because as we say one thing, then we say another, and then we say another, and it's a never-ending circle of contradicting ourselves.
So it's a whole cycle. So let's talk about it. Let's get down to business. Let's get the ball rolling. So contradictions with this proposal, what can you tell?
I think one of the biggest the biggest contradictions I've had, remembered like when we started the masters and I was all about doing a PhD, and then I came here to Malta and we did like the conferences, and it was like everyone was so annoyed of their PhD. Everyone was like, I hated mental health, broke up with my boyfriend, everything is terrible, my life sucks because I'm doing the PhD. So then I was like, okay, I'm not doing a PhD. And now in the process of the research, and then you get to like liking things, and you would like to stay a little bit longer to read, like to know this a little bit more, and then like, okay, I might be back again. We've been having this conversation. So.
I don't think you will do the PhD. We'll see, because we have been talking a lot about the weaknesses that it has, especially dealing with mental issues. So if in your case that's a contradiction, in my case it's clear that I don't want to study a PhD. That's too much for me. I want to enjoy life. And being a professor, being called a professor, a teacher, that's enough for me.
Yeah, I don't want to be called a doctor, which is, I think in Colombia, being called a doctor is like good.
Yeah, no, not in my case. So yeah, so the contradiction with the proposal itself, what would you say about it? Like, did you find any contradictions while you were writing it?
All the time. I think when I started writing the question, and then I realized that the question was not what I wanted to know, then having to, because I don't like to write and then erase things and then rewrite. I like to like edit. I'm more into editing because I think it's easier to write from like a starting point and then like editing stuff. So I think when you start reading and do the review, and then okay, this has been said, and this might not be as important, oh, they took this point, then you'd have to rethink the question, which is pretty much rethinking the whole proposal. So that's something that you go up and down in the process.
Yeah, in my case, I would say it's the question itself. So I want to focus my proposal, or I did, because it's almost done, about how an English program in Colombia has helped build peace in the territory. So my contradiction has been more related with the theories that I've been reflecting on, because at the beginning I was, thinking only about the positive sides of this program, but then through a conversation that I had with a professor, I understood that it's not only about that, but it's also about, seeing beyond, for example, in this case, the post-colonial views or the colonial views that are related with this study. So it's a contradiction because, I was seeing like this in a very romantic way. So that would be like the second point of this house, and is that we are very dramatic. So we love the drama a lot.
So what do you think? We're thinking about, well, I'm gonna just go back a little bit and say that actually one of my biggest contradictions, you're gonna read it, it's quoting Bourdieu and Foucault as the two main theories to talk about power. I know that doesn't make any sense, but I'll make it work, don't worry. We'll see how that goes. Do not worry about that yet. What was the name that we were thinking about it?
About the podcast.
Yeah.
Drama.
Dramáticas y empeliculadas.
Dramáticas y empeliculadas. So why dramáticas?
We're very dramatic. This is a house of drama. Everything is drama. Everything is like huge, and then like at the next day, it's like, oh yeah, I don't remember that anymore. What was I talking about it? Everything, grades, weather, going out,
studying, of course. But okay, so basically drama, Andrea, is because we come from Latin America. So we have the heritage of the soap operas, which dramatize everything. So we are a little bit part of that. So dramáticas because of that, and en peliculadas, why is that?
En peliculadas is a little bit harder to explain in English, because en peliculadas is like when you're making a movie out of everything. Mm-hmm. So every little thing is a movie. Think to this research proposal is, I'm going to talk about policies. Nothing's gonna happen. I'm pretty aware. I'm self-aware. Nothing's gonna happen. But the movie, la película in my head is about how could I push forward the idea that these policies should have printed in them the feelings and the needs of educators, and how that could be like done beyond what it's like being done right now. And
yeah. In my case, the movie in my head was about doing this research because I have some ethical issues there. I was working with the institution for 7 years, and I was like, oh my God, what if they don't like the dissertation that I'm going to write about? What if they stop talking to me? So I remember talking to a friend, and she told me, no, you don't know what's going to come out of this process, so you need to study the process, and they have to accept that this is the result of what you study, so it's not your personal view. But in my head, I was making a big drama out of the findings, and I haven't even started.
I think it's okay that we agree that there is a little bit, or a lot of our personal views and like feelings about the world in the proposal. Maybe the research proposal, the dissertation itself is going to be printed a lot of like who we are as humans in it, but that's okay, I think.
Yeah, and you made me think also about Frankenstein, the book, because this dissertation proposal at the beginning looks like it, like we are taking theories out of here and where we're trying to put everything together. But in my case, because I haven't done this for a while, so I felt like I tried to make it coherent, but of course Frankenstein is present there.
It was like that for me as well, because you start like taking things from books, so you say, oh, this is important, and then you don't know how to make them work together, and then you're like, well, this is pushing it, but we're on our way there, I think, pretty much okay. Mm-hmm. I think you were talking to me about a book, I think earlier, that's called
Tortilla Flat.
Yeah. Could you care to explain a little bit that the new right we're going to be adding to the household?
So yeah, basically it's the right to not being an important person, to be no one. You know, because this book is about it. It's about a group of French countrymen in Monterrey. So the writer is Joy Steinbeck. And they basically do what we do. Drinking wine, having good conversations, and that's it. So what do you think about it?
I love it. I love it. Takes so much pressure away, especially if you're writing a research proposal. Because at some point you think it needs to be good, right? It needs to be good. But then with this new writer we're gonna add to this table, it's gonna be like, I am on my right to be no one and to not do a great contribution to the world with this proposal. I think my biggest, I don't know if contradiction with what I just said, you know, is that I don't mind if I'm not good at things. I don't like to be mediocre with them. It's more like trying to do your best with what you've got. I think we should apologize in advance for what you're going to read. Just, you know, taking your point and knowing that it's not going to be great. It's not going to be fantastic.
But we did our best, because I think in Malta it's hard to study. You know, we have a lot of things going on at us. You can't imagine. So there's a fireworks festival, and it's been the whole week here, so it's impossible to concentrate with the sound out there. But because we are very responsible, we didn't go out last night, we didn't go out yesterday, and here we're studying as well, because we want to do our best. So it's not that we don't want to study, it's that this environment here is making it difficult. What do you think?
We're gonna go out tonight. Tonight, like if you can see us tonight, we're gonna go out. It's only necessary, only fair. Man, it is hard to concentrate in Malta, especially because it's really hot now. It's really hot, and you can't, like, I don't know, you can't like not drink beer. It seems it seems like we would be like, you know, sinning. It doesn't feel right.
I mean, in this house, we need wine and beers to concentrate and to study better. Okay, so if we have wine and beer, ideas are gonna flow better. So we haven't mentioned the other right that we have in this house, and is the dignity of failure. Okay, so making mistakes, because in this postmodernist society, being a failure is not seen well, but I think it's necessary in order to see behind what you left and what you have learned, more importantly.
Well, talking about references, Andreas, we're talking about references now. This is going to be an issue for us, I think. Especially if you haven't been writing for a long time, and you just start referencing, and everything changes so fast in the like academic world and the APA 7, and then you have to like get up to date. So we are a little bit wary of our referencing capacities. We're gonna send them. That's done. I mean, when it's done, it's done. We're not gonna do anything else. But I think that was one of the issues that we're worried about, because I think during the first semester we've got a lot of like comments on our references style. So that could be a little bit of an issue.
I have a question, Michelle. How do you feel now with the dissertation after, being reading and writing? Like, what's your perception now? What have you learned?
I think it would be nice to bring something from a different class that it's
structure, criticism.
Yes. The way to learn about the way we learn. And I have felt there's a lot of learning in a research proposal, of course, because I discovered an author, David Easton, and he's an old, like, probably know him, I don't know, he's been here forever, but for me it was like, oh, this is great, because I'm talking about something very serious, which is policy making and critical thinking in policies and analysis of how like society works with the output of policies. So I'd learned that you need to be interested in the topic. The topic needs to be something that you're put into. And this thing that we're doing here, this semi-podcast, dramáticas en peliculadas, I think it helps a lot to add a little bit of comedy the things are very serious, because you're talking about something that's very serious as well.
Yeah, Frankenstein, you mean?
War.
Ah, okay,
or
okay.
peace.
Oh, peace.
Or
Ah,
peace.
okay, yes. I'm talking about peace. I have learned a lot. The first thing that I would like to say is that I have to come to Malta to see the literature from my country from another perspective. And that's so interesting because it's learning how to value what you have in the context where you come from. So in this case, there's a very interesting journal that has some studies about peace and coloniality, and also about the peace process in relation to English learning, and how this is not really aligned or connected. So to my view, it's very interesting because of what I was saying at the beginning, that I was working with an institution where I imagined that everything was going well, but in a more critical perspective that is shown in the different studies or literature reviews, I realized that no, it's not that perfect, and that I need to continue learning from critical peace, critical education, conflict resolution, and that there are a lot of theories to pay attention to. So I think I have learned a lot from that, and also from you, Michelle, because you're faster than I am when you are writing. So understanding that every person has a different process of writing is also essential.
Yeah, the thing is, I because I don't erase what I write, so I stick to it even if it's not good. I'm very stubborn. So whenever I do something, I'm like, this is it. That's it. So I don't know if it's good, where we were talking about the dignity of failure. I don't know if it's good, but if it's not good, then I'll try to do better next time, which is giving it, being able also to send it the way it is, to be like, okay, this is it, I'm done.
In my case, if you see my files, you're going to see like different versions. So I start with version 1, then version 1.1. When I get to version 7 or 9, because 9 is my favorite number, numerology, So I say, okay, this is it. 9 is enough. And then I think that I'm almost. So in order to starting to close this conversation, because it's been a while now. So how would you think? Let's use the crystal ball. How do you think your dissertation will change in the near future? Do you think it's going to change a lot, or this was just an exercise?
To me, I'm going to try to push it forward. I think I told you I'm going to do an internship with Learning Links, and then I get direct access to the group of people I might be working with for the dissertation. Thing is, I don't know what's going to happen because I'm not, I don't have the positive check to start gathering information or anything, but I'm gonna try to make it work. I think one of the issues that make me suffer the most from this is that it's very serious, but I like it. But I want to make it friendly. I want to make it nice. I want to make it easy to read. I want to make it not boring. I don't know. It's just, I think it's the thing that anthropologists have a lot, because we write a lot of ethnography, and ethnography can be extremely fun or it can be really boring. So you need to find a way around academy and then try to make things that are very serious a little bit easier to swallow.
In my case, I also want to continue exploring this dissertation. I feel super motivated, exhausted, but motivated, and I hope that it works, because it's something that is really close to my heart, teaching English and also working with unprivileged communities. So I hope that this opens up the space to continue researching on this topic. So yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to do this in later on. So should we close? It's been like a while.
Yeah, okay. Well, Andreas, this was Dramáticas Impeliculadas. Hope you liked the reflection, and we're just waiting for your answer then.
Yeah, thank you, Andreas. Thank you so much for everything. Bye bye.